Right, okay, so for your hospitality and catering practical exam, you will have to demonstrate some key cooking skills. And that's what we're trying to go through at the moment. So I've shown you how to make pasta, I've shown you how to make your own meatballs. I'm now going to show you how to make a roux sauce, a roux based sauce. That's roux spelt R-O-U-X. Okay, now a roux sauce can be used to thicken a gravy. It can be used to make a thick soup, but we're going to use it to make a cheese sauce, which essentially is also the base of a white sauce. Right, okay, so to make a roux sauce we need to make a roux sauce you just need two main ingredients, and that's your fat and your flour. Now for a cheese sauce we're going to use butter as our fat for our base. Okay, and this is probably the most common sort of roux sauce that you would do. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a nice big spoonful of fat there. This might be, if you were making this for a gravy or something like this, the fat could actually be the juices from the meat, and it can be the fats and oils from whatever you've been cooking. So you can use it that way. Right, so we're just going to melt down this butter and start the base of our sauce. I want the butter to be fully melted. Okay, so you can see my butter's fully melted there. Right, I'm then going to add just a spoonful of flour. Okay, so I'm just adding a spoonful of flour there, and use that to soak up my butter. Okay, so I'm doing this on quite a low heat because you don't want anything to burn or to cook too quickly. Okay, so you can see there I've now got quite a thick sauce, which is just flour and butter, and that's what you would do with your fat to create your roux base. If you remember, we did this when we were doing our eclairs, same sort of thing. We made our chocolate eclairs, and then we add our milk, and our milk is going to form the base of our sauce. And you don't want to put too much milk in because you're likely to have to stir this quite vigorously to get the flour and butter to mix it in. So use just a little bit to start off with, and you can watch this thicken up, and once it thickens up you know you've got your basis of your sauce. Okay, so you can see the lumps are just, there's a few lumps there, they're breaking up though, and then this bit of the sauce will start to thicken as well. As soon as this starts to thicken, I can then start judging it and keep adding milk if I want to. I don't want it to be a liquid runny sauce, so I'm probably not going to want to keep adding too much milk, but every time it thickens up I can add a bit more milk if needs be. Because it's a cheese based sauce, I'm going to add quite a bit of cheese to it, so that will really create the basis of my sauce and make it quite thick in the end when I've done. So you can see that's now a really nice smooth sauce. Okay, there's generally no lumps in there, so now I'm just wanting that to thicken up a bit. So just keep it over the heat, keep it to gentle heat. It does take a bit of patience, just letting it thicken. You can start to see that now, because as I'm stirring it, you can see that you're seeing more and more of the pan at the bottom. Okay? And that's how you know the sauce is starting to thicken. Okay, so you can see now that that is actually quite a thick sauce. It's not a runny sauce as such, it's not as runny as the milk was originally. Now at this stage it's called a white sauce, okay, and as a white sauce you could add other flavourings to it, so you could add parsley to it, which is quite popular with fish, so you could make a white parsley sauce, and it can quite often be used at this stage in a lasagna. It's that white layer that we have. I still add cheese if I'm doing it in a lasagna, to be honest, because it adds a bit more flavour to it. Right, so you can see as it's starting to bubble now, it's really starting to thicken up. It is a sauce you have to constantly stir, and you have to constantly be attending to it while it's coming together. Otherwise you will get lumps. But once you've reached that stage, you can add more milk to it, and then if it was a thinner sauce, like a gravy sauce or something like that, and you're waiting for it to thicken up, you would add more of your gravy stock to it, and then you can sort of leave it on the hob for it to thicken up. I'm adding a bit more milk to it because I'm going to add quite a lot of cheese into it in a second. So just adding that bit more milk in. Right. So I'm pretty much going to double this sauce with the cheese that I have, and you can see I've got quite a mountain of cheese there, and I've tried a couple of different cheeses as well. So I've got some Parmesan going in, some cheddar cheese going in, and some leftover brie that we have in the cupboard as well. Okay, but you can pretty much put any cheese you want into it. I've used Philadelphia or even just a cheapo soft cheese, but basically the flavour of the cheese is what's going to flavour your sauce. So that's worth bearing in mind as well. Now at this point quite often I'd add a little bit of salt as well, but because I've put Parmesan in there, I find Parmesan really salty, so I wouldn't add any more salt to this. Now for a macaroni cheese, you could leave this as it is. You could add some herbs, you could add some salt and pepper to it if you want to give it a bit more flavour. That is part of your task as a chef. You need to decide what flavourings work well at this point. What are the things you need to add to your sauce to make it taste really good for your final dish? Okay, so that is how you make a roux sauce, and this is how you make a cheese sauce. Okay, so the roux base is your fat and your flour, then adding milk makes it a white sauce, adding cheese makes it a cheese sauce. It's that simple. Enjoy.